Nicole Baum. My first poem is called Pygmalion. She hands me a chisel, says, carve. It starts slowly, tracing veins of marble down pale arms. They hold unsteady, set in shape, made in image, by hands passed down from the tree roots. All lines of petrified wood from past ages, from past ashes. This stone shell holds me tight, a flawless armor, polished to mirror shine. Still, carved lungs seek to breathe, and my lips separate in agonized inches, changing, shifting, cracking open. A broken heart, a mended mind, mine, and my cold dead skin flushes back to life. My chrysalis, my becoming, my beginning, a metamorphosis chiseled out of me in chunks until I am something new, unseen, different, made of contradictions and commas that span across newly loved skin, until the name on my inscription is only a realized lie, the first of many, until I am not my sculptor's masterpiece and instead my own. The past lays in rubble behind me, the future is mutable and molded, fresh clay, the present set in stone around my feet, but the future is in my hands and I will grab it myself. Do not call me Galatea, she is dead on her pedestal, and her placard is worn with age and disuse. Lord, see me here as I move, statue made flesh, as I leave my stone angels behind. Let me pass my chisel forward. The second poem is called Selfish. The judge implores me, raise your right hand. Do you swear to lie? The scalpel pulls my skin back, flaying eyes, vivisect me on the witness stand, for the crime of feeling anything other than confidence. My lips are sewn together with red thread, a gag order from my mother's mother, whose mother smiled when she said big girls don't cry. It's passed down in my blood, 80 generations of women who always had to try just a little harder than anyone else. My mother looked me in the eyes to tell me that it's selfish to be sad, and I haven't cried since. I am not diamond, but stone is good enough. And if I was any less, I would shatter into a million mirror shards that reveal a 7-year-old who feels far too much, who has never been the rock for anyone at all. It's selfish, maybe, still. I've locked her in my skull where she'll be safe, where she can't escape, but she beats at the back of my teeth, begging to be free, and I don't know how much longer I can hold her. She rests on the tip of my tongue in dark mornings and street-lit nights. Her name burns the back of my throat and crawls up to sleep in the roots of my eyes because I can't bring myself to say it and set her loose. She tastes like salt and copper. Acceptance wasn't made for me. I can't let her be seen. I will hide this part of me until it hides itself. The truth is that I'm scared. This poem is called A Female Deer. The only life I've ever known filled itself in with words and sentences. Like echolocation, I sound myself out, mapping my memories and fighting the fog with raised torch. Like the hero stories I copied and rewrote to make my own, pen to page, as the only immortality I've ever sought. But no. They took that from me too, of course, because my fingers are stiff and my mouth invaded like some foreign land. Something in me pokes and prods at the silence, clearing the rubble I made of the inside of my lips, trying to free myself. Move! But I don't. And it's clear the longer I stay frozen and still, the more I leave behind. Letters slough off me in rotting chunks, pieces of the world I've so devoted myself to, nothing more than a distant memory. A dream, or perhaps a nightmare, in this cursed paralysis, this prison my rigorous bones made. Move, I say, or don't, or would have, move. And the words I so grasp for leave me, dry and tangled up, mixing lines until the dull buzz is a funeral bell inside my head, or what's left of it. Ironic, I'd say, if I knew what that was, that a morgue is so clean, made of shining steel like the gates of heaven, passing back an endless mirror hell of the glittering dead, where every empty eye meets mine so equally devoid of life, and they hesitate, scalpels laid flush on flesh white and cold in their angel coats. I used to know a word for that, but the letters flee from me. The body on the table stares back through the silver, doe-eyed, bug-eyed, pinned down and on display, character arc fulfilled. Thoughts get shorter. I lose myself chasing, hunting, following, as pieces of me are cut away and stored so someone else can keep my story, and it'd be nice if someone knew my name, but really, that's okay. Forensic etymology, it sentences me to my own Latin-lined coffin, joining the ranks of the forgotten. I've always wondered where languages go to die. And the definition dissects my eyes to look for the words within, explaining things no one wanted to know. It's Greek to me and them alike. And I am pressed like a flower between textbook pages, trapping my words into diagram labels and my skin into paper until I am as flat and lifeless as the body looking back from the shiny metal. The words I made my friends dance in circles around my head, cutting themselves to tiny parts, characters to characters in that sad forever dance. I cry the only way I can in weeping gashes that leak but I have nothing left to bleed and no way left to go. And when the angels reach in to put latex fingers on the back of my teeth, to reach down my throat and tell the story language denies me, when they hold shining scissors to the base of my tongue, to the only thing I've ever had, when they pull the evil from my brain through the roof of my mouth, it doesn't hurt and I don't resist. Even though it leaves me so empty that the me in the light bulb and the me in the drawers and the me in the scalpel together as one become no longer human, I'm angry. They aren't me. They should get their own pain somewhere else. No longer me. It doesn't hurt, but I feel so cold. And they cut out my tongue. And all I'm left with are the lines on my skin, constant letters that speak and scream and cry and wail, but no one hears at all, except the shiny silver of the cold table beneath my brittle bones. And I'd cry if I could, I really would. I'd confess to every sin I've never done and beg on my knees in front of every god I don't believe in, but I can't speak because they cut out my tongue. And the angels read me anyways. I've always really liked to play with sounds and more how we use the sounds we speak and the language we use to define ourselves. And I think it's really interesting that you can basically change your whole persona, your whole personality by changing the way that you speak and the words you use to define yourself. I've always liked the idea of self-definition, rewriting yourself. I guess I've just always wanted to play with that concept, the concept of making yourself new through writing yourself a different way.